You guys should think about your committees and let me know if you want to change them, if you want to keep them, what you want to do.
I'll stay.
Okay.
There's one I'd like to change.
Okay. Just let me know. Okay. I might have to do some shifting around just based on where people are coming in and where their expertise is.
Sure.
But I'll try to match your preferences as much as possible.
So what about, do you have thoughts about the event? Or are you
The
gonna,
time report?
yeah, involve us in any kind of
Yeah,
role?
yeah, yeah. I'll talk about it. We'll talk about that later. Thank you for bringing that up.
Bill, can I get a cup of water?
We still have a minute.
Jinx. Jinx.
What's that? What?
He jinxed it.
Oh, it should be it's on the second page. These don't have, is there another page by your place? Elaine?
That's got to be one of the best vendor names I've ever seen. Totally.
You won't forget it. That's true.
What name is this?
Dude Solutions.
Dude Solutions.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
Every page. Every page,
funny,
eh?
but a little weird.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Really? Like fits perfectly?
IT stuff,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Well,
You all set,
there's
Jim?
some other products out there.
Jim, you're all set?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dean. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the March regular meeting of your Board of Trustees. To honor our nation's heroes, and especially to honor the men and women in uniform who serve and protect our community, many of whom are here tonight, please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk Horvath, may we have the roll call, please?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Allen.
Here.
Trustee Hansen is absent. Trustee Rudolph.
Here.
Trustee Sifferman.
Here.
Trustee Timick, absent. Trustee Terrell.
Here.
Thank you. Having read the agenda, does any trustee have additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to a bittersweet recognition of firefighter Steve Henselman. Chief?
Thank you, President Gallagher and trustees. And I think the agenda, when I first looked at it and saw firefighter Heinzelman on it, I thought I was going to say, wait a minute, no, we should put captain. But truly, any of us that are in the fire service, when they ask, what do? You say you're a firefighter, and then you tell them your rank. And so I think it's very appropriate that that's what we're talking about for Steve. So I had a memo in your packet that kind of captures just a couple of brief things about Steve. I won't reread it to you, so I'll just capture it because I think there's two components about Steve that need to be covered, the personal side and the professional side. So I'm going to start with the personal side. Steve's always been somebody who has stepped forward, whether we're doing something formal in the department or whether we're doing something on gathering on the green, and he's standing out there for 8 hours grilling hot dogs and bratwursts and doing things to try and give back to the community. It could have been more highlighted than when we had the hurricanes go through Houston, and Katie and Steve put together the effort to send down relief items to the first responders. And the response that he got back was overwhelming. So along with his family and fellow firefighters, he put together all that delivery that went down there to help first responders. Excuse me, never asked for any help until people actually started going up to him and going, is there anything we can do with you being overwhelmed? And that just gives you an idea. I don't ask him to come up and stand next to me now because I really feel very inadequate when he's standing next to me. But the only thing bigger than him is his heart. And that's what he showed in those kind of efforts. And he did that around the firehouse all the time on little things, genuinely cared about our personnel. The second thing that he did that truly impacted me, and I think has impacted this village, is back in 2013, there was a ruling regarding whether or not a full-time employee could have firefighter duties and remain in the IMRF pension. Captain Schluter is here tonight, who was in that position. The village looked at that time and said, this man's put in more than 30 years. We need to make sure that this pension is safe. But in order to do that, we have to take the firefighting duties out of his job description, which meant we needed somebody almost 40 hours a week to fill a slot from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and to go back to our paid-on-call members who are all working full-time jobs and try and find that 5 days a week really was going to destroy the POC model. Any one of the alternatives I looked at were not good. Steve was just going into retirement, finally having a chance to just be able to dictate his schedule, and instead stepped up and said, I'll take that spot. And has taken that for the last 6 years, almost to the day, and has filled it admirably, being basically our shift officer, running all 3 shifts, filling out, signing up calendars for people sleeping in, whenever there was an empty shift, Steve always fell on the grenade. Spent a lot of time away from his family, and a lot of time that was free time for him that he could have enjoyed, but he gave it to the department, and he truly is very responsible for us still having a very, very strong paid-on-call model. So at this time, what I'd like to do is call up our president of our Rescue Association, Firefighter Carl Hammond, who's got a presentation for Captain Heinzel.
President, trustees.
Good evening.
I don't think I could say it any better than what the chief just did. In fact, he took all my words.
I saw your script.
It's my honor to be up here representing the rest of my association, fellow association members, and presenting this plaque to Captain Steve Heinzelman. This recognizes 22 years of service, dedication, and to the village of Western Springs. He is someone that I truly look up to, and I don't say that for the obvious reason, but really there's a lot of us here that do. He's put in his time for sure, and we can all follow in his footsteps as a good example. Captain, we wish you well in your retirement, long retirement.
One of the things Steve loves to do is talk, so we're ready now because here we go. Alex
You should tell me about this one.
I warned you. Yes.
Well, before I start, I want to talk about Chief Kenny right off the bat. A couple months ago, I heard him say, when you want to thank a lot of people, hopefully I can make it through this. You need to thank the ones that are most important to you first. Because if you don't thank those, the ones that are the most important first, can you come on up? You may forget about them later. So I want to thank my wife, who 22 years ago I got a flyer in the mail from when Chief Bennock was the chief here. And I was 44 years old at the time, so you can do the math. And I said, you know, should I do this? She says, well, go ahead and try it. If it doesn't work out, then try something else. Well, obviously it worked. Here I am. She's been a real backbone to me through this job, because I, like before, I had retired from American Airlines with 40 years, and I needed something to do, so I started working the fire service. And was doing both jobs at the same time, and it really worked out for me, and I probably wouldn't have done it unless she gave me the nudge to do it, so I want to thank her for that. My daughter, she's in Kentucky right now. She isn't able to make it tonight. She'll be here on Sunday, but she wishes everybody, you know, thank you for everything, for watching out for me. My son Kenny, And it might be noted that he started his fire career with Western Springs how many years ago? 14 years ago. He started his career in the fire service with Western Springs and is now a career firefighter in Carpenterville. So I want to thank you for allowing him to start his career here. To the rest of the members of the village board, members of the fire department, all of our neighboring fire officers that we have here tonight, Hinsdale, LaGrange, I want to thank them for having my back. Excuse me. As well as our police department, who's always there protecting us when we're on calls. Lastly, there's 3 individuals that I'd like to recognize tonight. The first one, these are going to be really hard for me to get out. The first one is my wingman, also known as Lou Higgins. Lou has always been there for the 22 years that I've been here. He's also known as my wingman for all the miles that he puts on with me when we're out on our bikes in the summertime. So, Lou, thank you. Second is Assistant Chief Dillon. Tom has come up through the ranks with me as lieutenant and as captain. I want to thank him for having my back. Third but not last, there was a gentleman who'd always come by, drive by my house in the summertime, and he'd always know when I was having a bad day at the firehouse. He'd swing by and he'd tell me, "Kid, you need to step back, take a break." That gentleman was Assistant Chief Olker. So, Dave, thank you. And to everybody here tonight, I'd like to say thanks again. Thank you.
Captain, and I'm sorry for giving you a demotion on your retirement ceremony, but I think the first time we spoke at any length was over at the South Firehouse when you were collecting those goods for Hurricane Harvey that the chief alluded to. And I tried to thank you for all your service in doing that, but you wouldn't hear of it. You were just deflecting any appreciation to everyone else around you that was supporting you. But there you were alone packing up the truck to go. So that speaks to your character, it speaks to your integrity and your humility as well. All fine reflections, not only on your department, but on the village as well. We wish you all the best in your retirement, and thank you for your service. Okay. Moving on, you're welcome to stay.
They have drills to go through.
Usually that's the cue and everyone gets up, so we'll give you a moment. It's not working. Chief. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Hi, Richard. Okay, we've come to that portion of the meeting where we open it up for citizen comments. Now that the room has cleared, I don't see any citizen to comment. Huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. If anyone would like to speak to the board, please, now is the time to come up and approach the board. Hearing none, we'll move on to the omnibus vote. The Illinois state statute allows a municipality to collectively vote on a group of ordinances, resolutions, and other motions, such as awards of contract, appointments, etc. This is known as an omnibus vote. All the items contained on the omnibus vote list have been previously discussed by the President and Board of Trustees on at least one occasion, and often on several occasions. By placing them on the omnibus vote list, a single vote may be taken to approve them. A trustee may remove any item from the list and have it discussed and voted on separately prior to the omnibus vote. Is there any such request this evening? Hearing none, Trustee Terrell.
Thank you, President Gallagher. I move that the following ordinances, resolutions, and motions as contained on the meeting agenda for March 25th, 2019 be adopted and or approved under an omnibus vote. Agenda item number 1. Approval of minutes of the meetings of February 25th and March 11th, 2019 as read. Agenda item number 2, ordinance number 192949, amending Title IV Liquor Control, Chapter 1, Alcoholic Liquor, Section 4-1-10A, Parent 9 of the Western Springs Village Code of 1997 as amended relative to the creation of a Class I special events on property owned or leased by a non-for-profit organization, liquor license which can be issued in the Village of Western Springs, Cook County, Illinois, 2019 Endless Summer Event at the 4384 Hampton Avenue property by the Theater of Western Springs, and Classic Cocktails by Scott. Agenda item number 3, ordinance number 19-2950, authorizing the disposal of surplus personal property owned by the Village of Western Springs Department of Fire and EMS, miscellaneous uniform items as detailed in Chief Patrick Kenny's memorandum dated February 13th, 2019. Agenda item number 4, resolution number 19-2479, approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental funding agreement for commuter rail division of the Regional Transportation Authorities as METRA participation in the cost of construction of a pedestrian underpass at the METRA commuter facility in the Village of Western Springs. That's the West Pedestrian Underpass at Prospect Avenue, BNSF milepost 15.8. Agenda item number 5, resolution number 19-2480, approving the issuance of a raffle license under Title III, that is the Business Regulations, Chapter 12, Charitable Games, Raffles, Bingo, and Other Games of Chance Regulations, Section 3-12-3, Raffles of the Western Springs Municipal Code of 1997, as amended, for applicant Western Springs Police Department / Special Olympics for a National Night Out event on August 6, 2019, with a license fee waiver and bond waiver. Agenda item number 6, resolution number 19-2481, approving the issuance of a raffle license under Title III, Business Regulations, Chapter 12, Charitable Games, Raffles, Bingo, and Other Games of Chance Regulations, Section 3-12-3, Raffles of the Western Springs Municipal Code of 1997, as amended, for the applicant Western Springs Historical Society for their 2019 House Walk event, May 19th, 2019 event, with a license fee waiver and bond waiver. Agenda item number 7, motion to waive the bidding process in lieu of solicitation of proposals and award contract to Dude Solutions of Cary, North Carolina for work order system in the amount of $16,355.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk Horvath, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly, President Gallagher. Trustee Allen.
Aye.
Trustee Hansen is absent. Trustee Rudolph.
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman.
Aye.
Trustee Timick is absent. Trustee Terrell.
Aye.
And President Gallagher.
Aye. Okay, the omnibus passes. Any other business this evening? If not, I'll move on to the reports. First up, monthly financial report, Trustee Rudolph.
Thank you, President Gallagher. You all have received your February month-end financial packets. A couple of items just to bring to your attention. The general fund ended with surplus due to the county's, the beginning of the distribution of property taxes. Also, tax-related, our sales tax receipts for February, which were for the December time period, were up a little bit more than 2.5% over the prior year. For our water, the consumption billed in February was about 10% less than the prior year. There was a correction with a Mariano's reading, so it may have been attributed to that. It's one of our, or if not the biggest customer of the water, so that may explain that. And then finally, the police pension fund, which we always keep an eye on, posted an unrealized gain of 2.4% for the period ending in February, and now we're at a 12-month return of 3.34%. Director Turi is not here tonight, but if any questions? Otherwise, I would make a motion to accept the financial reports for the February month end.
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Horvath, may we have a roll call vote?
Certainly. Trustee Allen.
Aye.
Trustee Hansen is absent. Trustee Rudolph.
Aye.
Trustee Sifferman.
Aye.
Trustee Timick is absent. Trustee Terrell.
Aye.
Thank you. Did I just promote you? Did I make you a
Yeah.
trustee? Yeah. I'm
Clerk.
sorry, clerk Horvath. That might be a hard habit to break. Moving on to my report. Thank you very much, Trustee Rudolph.
Thank you.
Moving on to my report, on March 14th, Director Scott and I attended the Clarity Physical Fitness Open House, which showcased their expansion and renovation that they recently did. They did a really nice job. The renovation includes a living plant wall right by the reception area, and they expanded out the back to include a yoga room. They now have a kitchen where they hope to host nutrition classes, a massage room. So they're really expanding out beyond just your traditional physical therapy. So if you have a chance, go check it out. And I wanted to mention that the West Central Municipal Conference Drive Down is May 8th to 9th this year. You'll remember this is an annual trip that we make as part of the communities of West Central Municipal Conference. There's about 30 communities within the North Central and Central councils. And we all go down as a block to lobby our legislators for issues that are of concern regionally, but also to speak with our legislators of issues that are of concern with us individually. So it's a good opportunity to speak with them one-on-one. It's also a nice social event to get to know other trustees and village presidents and mayors within the area. So if you're available, I know it is a Wednesday to Thursday, so it's right in the middle of the work week, but if you're available, I highly recommend coming down with us. Right now, I know Director Turi and Manager Velkme and I are going. And Trustee Rudolph. Great, thank you. Good. So if anyone else is available, please join us. Finally, as part of our annual audit, elected officials are asked to complete a written fraud risk assessment. You should have already received that form, and it's due March 27th. So if you have not already done so, please complete it and return it as soon as possible. And that concludes my report. Manager Velkme?
Thank you, President Gallagher. It may be spring break week and a little quiet in town, but it was quite busy this morning at Village Hall at the front desk because vehicle stickers and pet licenses were on sale. We also have, in addition to being open on Saturdays and so forth, we also have online services available too. And in the Tower Topics on the front page, there's an article listing as to the prices and so forth. So I just want a friendly reminder that you do have to have them by Thursday, May 2nd. So
Okay. Thank you.
that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Village Attorney Jerusik?
Just briefly, the General Government Committee will be getting 2 memos from me, one on the prevailing wage amendments and one on minimum wage. State passed some legislation. And then I'll also be bringing forward the recreational marijuana legislation once that gets formulated, and that's out there, so.
Okay.
But at least the first two, I've got memos that have been sent to the village, and we'll deal with those early in April, and we can talk about those during the April cycle.
Is the general direction on the minimum wage to align the village with the state
Well,
in a nutshell, or
in
is
a-
that too simple?
no, in a nutshell, the state implemented a new schedule that doesn't sync up with Cook County's. And since the village opted out of Cook County's minimum wage and then back into Cook County's minimum wage, Cook County's schedule is, the PACE will put its minimum wage higher than the new state minimum wage for about 3 or 4 years. And then depending on how the Cook County's minimum wage is impacted at $13 an hour by CPI, that will dictate how quickly the state's minimum wage schedule passes Cook County's several years from now. I did a memo that kind of has a chart, and it shows you the two schedules, and it takes it out through 2025. So you get a sense of when the state's minimum wage should pass by the Cook County's minimum wage. But we'll still have a patchwork of different minimum wage requirements based on Cook County and the state's amendment not aligning with each other.
And then we have to roll that out to the businesses to inform them?
You can do it as just as an FYI.
Okay.
The village has to comply with the state regulations for its employees. Under Cook County's minimum wage, it did not apply to public employees, so the Cook County's minimum wage only applies to private employers. So, within our town, private employers have to comply with Cook County's schedule. The village and any other public employer, such as the Park District Library, School District, will have to conform to the new state schedule. It's going to be a little bit of patchwork and a little confusing,
Right.
but the two schedules I laid out concisely show you which applies to which and how they move forward.
Okay, thank you.
So for the next couple of years, though, nothing changes for our businesses. They're
No.
still,
Under
you have to
Cook County.
comply with Cook County ordinances, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything
No
else?
further report.
All right, thank you. In that case, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'd second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned. Good evening.